Welcome to Engaging the Truth Team, where we express the love and truth of Jesus Christ.
Hello and welcome. It's a privilege to talk to you this time around. And today I want to share with you my opinion and the truth of some of the situations happening around, and also to try to give you a perspective of God and also what you should look out for in terms of the current world that we are in. Recently, there was an event that happened in Nigeria where you had people loot a warehouse with food because of the very serious hunger that is going on today. And it happened not just in Nigeria, but in some other areas like that in Africa. Now, not at the same time, but there has been a very serious hunger and economic hardship that has been going on. And the events that are happening may look as though it's just coincidence, as though this is just normal things. When there's an economic outbreak, people can take laws into their hands and it could affect any aspect of the country. But this is not what is going on. And recently you saw in Lagos State, you saw the governor of Lagos State handing out palliatives to people. And as much as this might be a good act, but there is an underlying factor that we all should consider. Naturally, Nigerians are known to be people who are very resilient. A lot of things has happened in Nigeria that in other parts of the world, it has cost them war. They've just gone to war. But Nigeria, we won't just get to that point. But what is happening now is a gradual shift towards that total breakdown of law and order. And this is not about the Nigerian president. This is not about a political party, but about the big brothers that are controlling the affairs of many of the African countries today. And what these governments are after is a total submission from the government of this country, like Nigeria, to their policies. Now, their policies look very good on the outside, but they have an agenda. And what is the agenda? They need to cause a total breakdown of law, of order, and bring the world to what they call the Great Reset. If you've read the book by George Orwell, 1984, you see that talk about the fact of the centralization of all operations, the centralization of production. And if you've also heard from the World Economic Forum and the United Nations, the IMF, these guys have always been talking about what they call the Great Reset. What is the Great Reset? The Great Reset is a time where there is going to be a big crisis in the world that will shut down everything. This is not to scare you, but it is the truth that is going to happen. And it is better you know about this truth now and you're better prepared towards it than for it to come and meet you without any preparation at all. When COVID happened in the world, many people considered it as a crisis, as a bad thing. But what did IMF, what did the World Economic Forum, what did Schwab, what did they call COVID? They called it an opportunity. And when they called it an opportunity, what they meant is that COVID gave them a test run to see if it is possible for a single crisis to shut down everywhere. And that was what they saw with COVID. And so what other people, what you and I would call a problem, a crisis, these guys called it a great opportunity. And that's exactly what is happening now. Now, what's the strategy? When a new government comes into place, for instance, in Africa, in Nigeria, take for instance, they are made to submit their loyalty to the IMF, the International Monetary Fund. Now, these guys promise them, okay, we're going to back up your campaign, we'll back up your policies, we'll back up your government. Just do one thing, ensure that the naira floats, ensure that the country, the currency, the economy is not going well. Now, these are not the decisions of the president. These are submissions they needed to make. And that's why whenever any African country tries to resist the powers of these globalists, there is always a crisis. And as it is going now, the world is entering a time of great reset. You may not believe what I'm saying now because it doesn't seem like it, and nobody is talking about it. All right, now somebody has to get up and talk about it, and that's why I'm saying this to you now. That if you're watching this, something is coming, and it is called the Great Reset. Let me tell you one of the things that will make you to know. Already, all religion in the world have been united, and that might seem surprising to many people. All religion in the world, Christianity, Catholicism, Islam, even Hinduism, all those religions, they've already signed a total, what they call unity. The Pope is heading all these guys, and the same thing is happening in other areas of the world. There is a socialist movement that is being driven, where the government will control the religion, the government will control the availability of food, the government will control your access to road, to transportation. These things are happening. It's just that when you don't look around carefully, you won't find it like that. Now, the goal is to get to the point where the private sector is on the ground, owns almost nothing, and that's why you find a phrase that comes out from the World Economic Forum that they say, "You will own nothing and be happy." How can you own nothing and be happy? That's a socialist idea. If you study economics, you'll understand what socialism means. It's a state-owned kind of practice where the state owns the control of means, and that's what is happening currently. And for those of us who read the Bible, you understand some of these things have been talked about. But it's like every time we talk about the Bible, every time we talk about Antichrist, somebody says, "No, you people are overreacting. You are oversimplifying or over-applying these things." Well, oversimplifying, over-applying or not, look at the signs around you. Look at all the countries that are submitted to Commonwealth. Look at all the countries that are working with IMF. Look at what is happening in Nigeria. Now, I want you to take a look at countries that are not under IMF, countries that have broken out of the Commonwealth, countries that have said no to ECOWAS. Look at how their country is moving forward. These are the countries that are trying to resist the one world movement, that are trying to resist the unipolar government that has controlled the world all this while. And that's why Russia is under the armor. They're going to burn down Russia because Russia is holding a fist against the control and the agenda of this socialist, this one world religion people, this one world government. Now, why am I telling you this? Number one, so that if you are a Christian, you will pray with information. There are several things that are happening that they are just a facade to cover the real problem, the real deal. And they won't tell you these things, but I'm telling you now, so you can say you are informed. I want you to pray aright. I want you to pray with understanding. I want you to pray with information. And I also want you to prepare well. This is not the time for you to be so careless or for you not to know what is going to happen. This is the time for you to read and understand. And I really pray that Nigeria is called the giant of Africa. But I want you to take a step back and look at the reality. Is Nigeria really giant, or it's just a name that's on the front? All right. Now I want you to compare what's happening in Nigeria now to what's happening in Mali and some other countries that have proven their allegiance to BRICS. Right. That is the new multipolar, movement that is fighting against the control of the United States and of the one world government agenda. Check what is happening in those countries. Check how the economy is booming. I really wish and I pray that God will move Nigeria to the point where we pitch our allegiance to the right sources and not to the people that will drain our economy, the people that will cause us hunger, the people that will cause us problems. And then the agenda in the end, if the one world government, if they're not able to control their if they're not able to fast track their operation, what is going to happen is I pray we don't get to that. I pray that we don't get to that point. But I'm telling you that this is what is going to happen. If the one world government are not able to achieve their goal in trying to suppress the countries under them, cause economic problem, you know what they're going to do? They're going to cause a big monumental crisis everywhere that will reset the whole system. Now, what does it mean for that kind of reset? When COVID happened, COVID shut down everywhere. There was no movement. There was no operation. Companies have to shut down. And why are they doing these things? Because if they are not able to create a crisis, if you're not able to create a crisis like that, they won't be able to lead people into the fourth industrial revolution, which is what is coming. The fourth industrial revolution, where human beings are no more in charge of production, where you have robots taking over. And we have been saying these things for a long time, that the era of human beings taking control is gradually coming to an end. But it is very better, it is much better that we say these things years before they happen. The only issue is that most people wouldn't even believe. They would just feel that, what are you talking about? There's no problem at all. Well, I pray that the problem doesn't come, and then we now say, oh, somebody says it. I don't want to be proven right in that kind of case. I pray that God steps in and destroys the agenda of these movements that are against humanity, that are against our common good, and that they have a very dangerous hidden agenda under their hand. In the name of Jesus. God bless you for watching.
Thank you for listening or watching. Don't forget to share this content. We know that your first priority is to your local church, but if you feel led to support our gospel effort financially, please check the description for details. God bless you.